Unsealed and Revealed. Hi, how you doing? My name is Jeff May, and I am navigating these murky waters of technical brain farts there, so apologize on my part. I'm very excited to be here. With me, I have, as always, our resident six-scale expert and all-around good scoundrel to know, Guy Klender. Guy, how you doing, bud?
I am doing great, Jeff. I'm real excited for you to see this, and I'm very excited to see both of you.
I have a lot of questions about this piece, so I'm very excited
cool.
to deal with that. And of course, we have our amazing moderator, Cassidy, on the ones and twos. She will be taking your questions, comments, and concerns throughout all of the live channels that we have going on today. So don't be afraid to ask those questions. She can address them either in the chat, or if it's something that we should be asking on here, she will absolutely do that. So don't be afraid to participate. This show works best with you. Now, today we're going to be looking at the War Machine 6-scale figure from Hot Toys. This is going to be from Avengers Endgame. And before that, I just wanted to say that, as you can see, just like last week and the weeks before, Guy Klender has been back in the studio, and he's feeling awesome. Guy, you look great over there.
Oh, thank you.
Solid camera, solid lighting. You look really sharp. I like it a lot. The box looks great too. I like that. And just so you know, he is there, but everyone is practicing social distance and consciously being safe. We have super producer Sam behind the camera, more than 6 feet away, wearing a mask. Maybe not a mouse.
He has a mouse in the pocket.
I got to be honest with you guys. I'm killing it this morning. No one else is in studio with Guy, and as always, we are doing our best to ensure the good health of ourselves and others. Now, before we take a look at the figure, I did just want to say that I got good news, because I get push notifications from the Sideshow YouTube account that one of Guy's videos has just gone up, and that we have sort of an unsealed light, and he got to play with the Boba Fett 6-scale vintage that we announced previously on May the 4th. So that being said, if you say you like Unsealed and Revealed, but you don't want me mucking up the works, and you just want Guy to play with the toy, you can check that out. The video is up. I did watch it. It is super fun to watch Guy marvel at all of these. So don't be afraid to check that video out, of course, once we're done here. Now, without further ado, Guy, people are like probably in the comments like, get to the toy. Just get. So let's take a look at the figure. Let's go.
Hey, yes, let's take a look. This is one of our diecast figures. I adore diecast figures. There's just something about it. This is the Mark 6, and it's one of the suits that I really, really, really dig. So up here on the front, we've got what has become kind of our standardized look with the A, and then the lines of the A done in a foil, and that pixelated style comic look of the figure. Now with these die casts, they're slightly different in the packaging.
Yeah, how heavy is that thing if it's die cast?
The whole package, just like this, is about 6 pounds. Him on his own, when I take everything out of here, is right under 4. I'm gonna say 4.
All right.
We're gonna round to 4. So here's that wonderful sound. That I think is so fun. It's just to show you just how well these are packaged. Quickly back on here, as we've seen before on the package, even though this is not the open around and it's the side slide, we are again getting, let me pull that down there, the War Machine logo and the Avengers logo. So we're getting both on that box. That's something we've seen carried throughout. All right. Now these particular ones in our die cast have a thick foam that are done, and then,
well, they have to be, right?
Yep. And you'll see that they're all specially designed for each figure. Okay, they're not a generic, and that it's a nice thick one. And I love the pressed in there. There's something about the, metallized version that I think is pretty darn neat. here is our figure himself.
I love the character. I really do love the character of War Machine and James Rhodes, and so I'm really excited to go through this.
You're gonna really dig this. This is a great version of it. So we do still have, like with others, we have 2 trays. The lower tray is underneath this foam, and I'm going to first talk about this, and then we're going to lift that off. So we have our exposed James Rhodes head, the face mask that will cover that, our classic figure, the weapon, and 4 additional hands. Okay? Underneath, these slide out, and your under tray.
A very satisfying sound.
Yes, I love it. It is my favorite sound. Your under tray is going to have your tools and batteries and your dynamic stand. All right, so let's pop this off. The dynamic stand on our Diecast is the thicker rod, obviously to support the weight of a figure.
Yeah, that's a strong one. Huh? That's bigger than we've seen.
Yes.
That's one of the ones we would use on like a Hulk or something like that as well.
Now, even though they are the dynamic stand, and you can go a little higher, I'm always going to be cautious, particularly in a 4-pound Diecast. I don't know that I would go all the way up as far as a flight mode, but definitely get him a little bit in the air. But these are the bases that'll go with it. The clips. These are padded on the inside, okay? And those are great to kind of support your figure a little bit better. I'm going to set this off to the side, and we're going to take a look at this last little bit. We've talked about the tools that I'll have and that I use, and tweezers being one of them. Boom, they come with it.
Oh, look at that.
All right. They've given you tweezers, which is great.
They're smart to use plastic tweezers on this because you don't use metal tweezers on the diecast.
But they've given you another tool that's kind of fun as well. And we're going to talk about. They've given you the small screwdriver, and this is great. When you have to do the batteries or have one of the little, flip this over, one of the pieces that you have to remove to kind of get to something, sometimes you've got to pry that up. What they've given you is this little clear plastic one. I'm going to put this over by the turntable, and I want to thank you in advance to Sam for bouncing back and forth with me. It's more of a little flathead screwdriver style.
Like a little oar.
Exactly. But when I go and pop the little things off like so, okay, the little back plate, which is where we've got some batteries, I'm not worried when I go in there that I'm going to scratch and damage the paint or figure in any way. All right, while I've got them like this, we're gonna fire up our first light section, okay? The back one there where you put the batteries in, that is gonna do the chest parts. We're gonna flip over and you'll see that lit. We're gonna light them all up, and then Sam is gonna be nice enough to dim our lights for us. Top part like so, pulls up, and there's your battery compartment in there. Here's what I was talking about with, particularly when you're having these smaller ones, the 2 that you have in the arm and the 1 on the head, is that I'll use the small screwdriver to unscrew, and then this little flathead plastic to lift it up before I put the batteries in. Okay, we're gonna light him up. Now, the next part I want to talk about is one of my favorites. It is instruction based. It's time. And here's why. Anytime you're doing one of the die-cast figures, definitely read through the instructions first. These things have unique points of articulation that are designed specifically for it. However, the reason I bring up this particular one is this is the first time we've been given an instruction update. Okay, this is inside it. Okay, and that instruction update tells us about doing the lights in the arm and right here. Okay, and what it is telling you exactly how to lift this piece. Okay, really it's telling you to be gentle and how to do it. And anytime you're going to be doing these, we're going to go slow. The reason that they talk about it is, let me put this up here on there. The clips that are going to hold this in are a thin, smaller clip. And that is because of the sleek design of the arm.
Yeah, that's one of those things too. Whenever we talk about, I mean, any hot toy, you know, is an investment. This is something, it's a purchase because you love this.
Yes.
These die casts are, you know, these things, I mean, we know, you can even look at just how quickly they sell and everything like that, that these things are really top of the line. As you know, it's like A+ and then A++ with the die cast stuff. So you never want to be reckless with a die cast piece. You never want to be reckless with any hot toy, but I mean, it's hard for me not to say, don't be stupid. Read
exactly. But read through those, particularly like here you go, oh, I've done these before. I'm familiar with where everything is. Well, having a supplemental, that's not something we normally get. As they've done with many of the other accessory pieces, when you have something like this, they'll have a little R or a little L on there to make sure you put it in. Here is your little on-off switch. And when I talked about this little tool, anytime you have one of these little cover panels, they do have a little divot in there. I don't have fingers small enough to lift that out, so I use the little tool. All right. When you see on the instructions that it shows how you remove the little arm thing, I'm obviously going to just do that in reverse. Clipping it up on top and then pressing against the back. All right, now I have lit him up, so I'm going to put all of the lighting forward like so. And Super Producer Sam is going to be kind enough to dim the studio lights so you can see light up effect on our figure here. Oh, he's so good on that.
It's a sacrifice we make for not seeing Guy.
Exactly. But you know what? That's more important.
You look like, I was going to say, you look like a scary Obadiah Stane.
Yes. Well, we just got to get the beard back. What you're going to see up here is, look how bright that chest one is. This has a bit of a pink or fuchsia hue that comes off of it, and that is, screen accurate. That there had a brighter kind of pinkish, where we had a more red in the eye, on the side there, and then on both the forearms.
Okay. Red eye. You don't want to mess with. You don't want to mess with War Machine anyway, but
Correct.
Then you see that and you're like, I'm good.
The other light effect you are going to have is going to be on the hands. What I'm going to do is swap out one of those so you can see what we've got going on with that. And the hand I'm choosing is unique as well. So here we go.
That repulsor, the repulsor ray.
The repulsor ray hand. Thank you, Sam. Boom. Again, quite bright. All right. So, and of course, you've got one on each side. Right now, on the left arm, I have the closed fist. So it does not light when it is in the closed fist mode. But on the other ones, we have. So pretty neat, right?
That would be an awkward use of a light to put it into a closed fist mode.
Yeah, you did just a sliver of light. But I really like the light effect on this. The little ones off on the side are kind of fun. And then I think, oddly enough, maybe one of my favorite little light up effects is how bright these little forearm guys.
Yeah, no, they're great. Like this is definitely this is a showpiece. You know, this is something that
yes.
When you have people over, you're like, but also check this out.
Yeah,
because that is really rad.
I put this particular hand on here. I'm going to put the different hands up on our turntable to show those off, and then I'm going to explain why I chose the one that I put on there. Now this right up front there, that is the fist that I removed to put on the repulsor hand. I then have my individual finger articulated hands.
So those are articulated fingers?
Yep. Each of the fingers is articulated.
So, because that's a question we get not rarely. We get that question relatively often from in the audience is, can I move the fingers? And on
Yep.
this piece, you're saying you sure can.
Yes, on this piece here, you've got the individual articulated thumb and 4 fingers on there, which is great, and this will have that light up. Now, the one I put on there that I've lit up with him this is the articulated one. This one here is the repulsor light up one. And the reason I bring it up is, take a look here. It is in how it attaches, all right? The repulsor light up one already is done on an angle. That way, when it's on his hand, it is up and straight forward.
And that saves you any opportunity of breaking.
Well, there's that. You're also not, you're not tweaking it, and it allows for them to create the light port to really go straight through. Whereas if it was just on one of the flat ones, when I would lift it up, I'm going to be blocking half of that light. This way it's taking care of that. So that's just a really neat little addition they've done with quote repulsor hand.
That is really cool. So while we have this situation up here and we've looked at these hands, I'm going to hit up Cassidy and ask her, Cassidy, have we gotten any questions that that you think we might want to address yet?
We've gotten a few. Glenn on Facebook wants to know what the difference is with this War Machine versus the other previous Hot Toys War Machines.
Okay, that is a big question. This is our Mark 6. The Mark 4, which we had the pleasure of looking at for the show, was a much more heavily armored and a much bulkier version of the armor. This is a little bit sleeker version of the armor that he uses. This is one that we see pretty much throughout the entire film. One of my favorites is when he lands in this suit. It's a beautiful shot of the suit. And there is Ant-Man. And he says, hey there, regular size man, which I thought was great, and kind of walks away. But how does it differ? Not only is it a different design in the suit, this has articulation points and design aspects we've not seen before in some of the other suits. The paint scheme is very different as well. So in many ways, this is a different.
From a military perspective too, because War Machine is a military sort of character, things considered. This has a much more sort of sleek jet feel, whereas the Infinity War, which is the Mark IV, I believe, definitely rolls up like a tank.
Yes,
like it's really sort of based in power and intimidation, and this sort of kind of vibes more towards that sleek yet still very effective aspect to it.
And I think his previous suits like that were much more like a bomber, and this is more your fighter jet type armament. You're absolutely right.
The history of Rhodey is very interesting too, because he's over 40 years old. He's 1979 when he first premiered. He took over as Iron Man in 1983. And then we see the creation of the War Machine armor, I believe, in 92 or 93. So there's like a lot of interesting history to the James Rhodes character. And it's really nice to see how much respect they gave him in the Marvel Universe.
Oh, yeah. Now, as you spoke about it, here is our portrait of James Rhodes with removable face mask. All right. And you also asked about how does this one differ than the others? This, we did see a Rhodey face sculpt on our 4, and that remains pretty much the same. However, the helmet itself is slightly different, particularly some of the side clip areas and the way in which it lays on there.
That was great.
That bottom jaw of the suit is articulated, and that top part is magnetic. Allowing us to do that, and then of course also allowing us to close it up like so.
You're gonna have him knocking out your Star-Lord 6 scale with that?
Exactly. So I liked this character a lot. You're right. He's one that I'm very interested in. He's in his journey. throughout all this. While we were going over that, I did add the accessory, his large shoulder cannon, okay, that is on there. Has a single little wedge that'll go right in there. This part is plastic, okay, so
smart.
You don't have to worry about scratching.
Yeah, yeah. It's making that specific part of the piece die cast would be kind of odd, especially in the fact that the gun isn't generally made of the same specific material that that's made. Because in I remember in Iron Man 2, the War Machine armor was Stark Tech, but the weapons were Hammer Tech.
Yeah. Now there we go. So we've got this fully articulated, as we've seen before. Another reason that's nice that it's out of the plastic is when you're doing it, if you had bonked into the helmet and scratched it, you won't be doing that when it's like that. Yeah. So let's take a look and go head to toe on the look. I love that look.
What, Guy, before we go head to toe, I realized we didn't, Cassidy, we only answered the one question. Was that?
Yes.
Were there any other ones in there?
We do have another one from Uncle Pete on YouTube. He wants to know, is this figure heavier than the War Machine Punisher 6 scale, or like what is the weight difference?
Oh, the War Machine Punisher 6 scale was a larger and heavier suit than that one there, and that was just the amount of bulk. That and the War Machine Mark IV that we looked at, that War Machine and the War Machine Punisher Mark IV are about the same in weight. This is less because of that sleeker quality to it.
All right.
Any other, Cass?
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's see. At the moment, I don't have any, but I am looking to amass more questions. So if anyone has any more questions, just shoot them in the comments.
Heck yeah. And as a reminder, in Instagram, she will not be able to answer you directly in that video, but she will address those on here.
All right. So let's take a look.
Yeah, let's go head to toe now, Guy. Let's take a look.
Just spinning it around like that. I love the color scheme. This is kind of that black chrome gunmetal-esque
gunmetal, yeah.
Quality done in the suit. It is broken up by bits of the silver. See there on the back there.
Yeah, the true chrome, I guess. Exactly.
Throughout, as we're looking at it, you're seeing little nicks and little scratches, and it's those kind of things, those little details that really bring it to life. If it was, showroom floor paint, it doesn't look as lifelike, and this one, it gives you all that is just is so much different. He's been through it. Yeah,
he's done a few superhero landings.
Even if it's just he's just been flying around and not battling, there's things that are going to be in the air and bump and nick.
Wouldn't that be funny if there were just little like bug splatters?
It's got little mosquitoes that have been hit there. But you do see, around here and other areas where it has a little bit of that paint wear or rub. This is I don't know why, but on all of the suits, I love that his name is done as the pilot of said suit. You've got your Lieutenant Rhodes on there. I love that. That's just a little extra thing that, and that I can read that text, that it's just that small, but it's so crisp and clear. Is really neat. Love the shoulder pauldron paintwork there. It's got the 06 down on the leg, and then Star Stripe on the other. Okay. Again, this is where we're seeing those little bits of color on the knee. We see it up on the arm as well. We're going to go up and take a look at those. So you see those a little bit on the bicep here, a little bit on the back there, and then throughout the chest and torso, breaking up that solid color mass, particularly when it's a suit this big. The more I look at this, the more it's just so neat. So
it is. And speaking of the more he's looking at this, for those of you that are just joining us, we are looking at the War Machine Mark 6 scale figure from Hot Toys from Marvel's Avengers Endgame. And we're really enjoyed that. This is a diecast piece. And of course, time for the shameless mid-show plug. Don't forget that if you like what you're seeing and you want to see more, make sure to subscribe and hit that notifications bell on our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any content such as the Boba Fett 6-scale vintage piece that Guy did that is now up on YouTube.
So fun.
I'm jealous that you got to play with that.
I had no idea. They just said, we want to show you something. Come on in here. And yeah,
we always have loads of events going on. And right now we are going full steam ahead, gearing up for Sideshow Con, which starts July 20th and it goes to the 26th. Please make sure that you pre-register so you have access to the con exclusives from us and Hot Toys, giveaways, swag, sneak peeks, loads of other benefits. Cassidy is over there, and she's going to be dropping a link to that in the chats real quick, or you can just head to side.show/con and get all of that information that you need and get that pre-register in, because you're definitely going to want to have that. I've gotten a couple of sneak peeks of some of the stuff that we're going to be doing for Sideshow Con, and you are definitely going to want to be here for that, because it is pretty exciting. Now, Guy, you've got Rhodey on his back.
Yes, I've removed the cannon. There's that wedge that I spoke about, and I've done that just so I can kind of go over some articulation points, and I'm going to work him this direction, and then I will stand him up as well. So we have our standard ball joint on our head, and then on the neck region as well. The arm. What I like about this is the ability to kind of pull them a little further out, and that is correct. You can do that. The shoulder is attached. Okay, it's not a removable piece, but it is a hinged piece. And so when I'm lifting and moving that, it will move up and out of the way for me.
And this is definitely a two-hand process when you are doing that. You saw him lift it up a little bit before he went to the maneuvering, and that is important to do with these die-cast pieces.
Yes, thank you for saying that and bringing that up. So yeah, so when I'm doing that, I'm kind of lifting that out of the way and making those small moves. As you can see, as far as the range of motion, they are ball jointed up on the arm and shoulder there. So that gives me full range with those.
Yeah, I think this pose right here that you're doing is the can versus should situation that we get when we're doing these shows, because we get a lot of questions. Can I do this fully over its head?
Yeah.
It looks like you can with this piece. I don't think either myself nor Guy would suggest it.
No,
for several reasons, the least of which is that's not really how War Machine flies.
Truthfully, my biggest is he never moved that way. That makes no sense.
Yeah, he doesn't fly.
But it is something I want to talk about as far as when you talk about just the huge leaps and bounds that Articulation has made over the years and what we're able to do with these figures. So I'm going to move that out a little bit, as you saw me pull a little bit, and you also are able to rotate the forearm completely as so. So let me try and do that on our slightly closer cam. So I have full rotation here, which is nice. And again, you see more of that kind of chrome offset, where I said that this was articulated to move, that I will kind of hold it out when I lift up. Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, unless you're doing, clothesline moves from the WWE, I feel like you probably don't need to go.
Yeah, you don't need to do it. But again, the ability to do it.
Yeah,
and then
can versus should. Right?
Yes,
like you absolutely can do that. Look, he's holding a little invisible suitcase up.
Exactly. So this here, I'm going to drop that down, and you see we get a little over 90 on the bend for the arm there. But again, being able to twist out gives you even more range with what you're doing with your figure. All right. Next up, let's take a look at, I'll lift those up I want
the chest. Are you going to go chest now with the because this is a question we get all the time is what's the flexibility on the torso?
Well, since we've got the chest there, let's take a look at one more neat part.
Yeah,
front chest piece. New design in here, and really bright chrome pops out on that.
Which is great because it's not necessary.
Nope,
but it is
absolutely not.
It is a nice sort of addition, and thank you from the art director and sculptors and painters and everybody at Hot Toys for really doing this nod to something that's not really going to be aggressively viewed, and yet it's that good.
Yep. All right, old-timey stretches that we're able to do.
Stretch those obliques.
Now, as we've seen with some of our other Iron Man suits and our War Machine suits, what they've done is giving you additional articulation points in the waist-torso connection, and you hold the legs, lift up on the top, and you saw that kind of pulled up.
That's my favorite Kermit the Frog song. the waist torso connection.
It's one of the supplemental material pieces on the DVD.
Classic.
But this allows us to do those chest twists, which
shout out to Terry
Smith. There we go.
There we go. You watch How to Be a Poser, you know Terry Smith tells you that you tell a big story by doing a tiny twist.
Yep. So that was the lower portion right here, okay? That pops up here. But you also have in the upper, okay? Now the reason we're doing that they've added the articulation like that is for those front bends, like so. And I don't know if you saw that on this one. You're going to see that this front piece here,
it like cases over it. Yeah, look at
over that. Okay.
Oh wow.
Yep. We saw that the first time I think I saw that type thing with the movable bit in the torso was, I want to say, in the 4, the Punisher style had a little thing like that there. So that's just an extra little bit there that gives you more range of motion. Now let's talk about the next, and that is down here around our waist. This is where we're going to have those flaps, okay? You're going to lift those up anytime that you're moving those legs, and there's one on the side as well. So let me pull all 4 out for you to see. You'll see like so, okay? Now, another new thing added is the rear. This flap here now moves, and what that does is when I am positioning the leg backward. Before, that was a little limited. It's not now. Now when I pull the leg backward, that being able to pull outward gives me a little bit more range of motion. Okay, so that's a neat one. All right, down toward our leg, we're able to twist and turn that. Now, I'm going to be very quiet because I want you to hear just how tight and loud the ratchets are on this one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I love seeing the pieces move. Like, that's something that's relatively new, all things considered, from my perspective.
Yes.
Because I'm not a 6-scale expert. I don't have a ton of these things. But watching you click that, the hearing was good. But watching the different parts of the armor shift was really interesting for me.
That's why I wanted to do it slow, was to show off how those. Again, that's all in design and. You wonder how many times did you have to, nope, that didn't work, back to the drawing board, when you're doing something like that in a toy.
I couldn't help but notice that you got a sweet, sweet, juicy foot right there.
I do indeed.
So I gotta be honest, I think we could use a nice little tread watch right now.
I think it's time.
Oh, yeah,
boom. Tread watch. There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tread Watch. Favorite part, let's see. Those are great.
Yep, and the foot has a lot going on with it.
Yeah.
And so we're going to stay here for a second, and thank you, Sam, for being so patient with me. We're going to have that toe articulation, okay? We also have the, notice when I move it, that will flip back. Your side panels also.
Is that so you can flex the foot backwards?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So pronate and supinate. So let's take a look there when I do it flat like so.
Yeah.
Here is something brand new. This is a new articulation point. And I'm going to show the waist level when we get those where you get to pull down and extend it. The foot this time also does that.
Oh, heck yeah,
dude. It actually also drops down a little bit. Sorry, there's my hand in the way. See how it dropped down, giving me just a little bit more range if I'm trying to go very dynamic forward.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's a new point. The extra little bit. So that's new on the suits. And I really think that's kind of a fun thing to.
Yeah, you can really tell the sculptor's having a lot of
they're doing a lot when they're doing those kind of things. I think that's the exciting thing is, oh, it looks just like it did in the movie. Well, how can I make it move more? Or how can it so that is the pull down. We also have that, as we've had before, in the leg. And you're getting 3 distinct clicks out of that. Okay.
Yeah, the hip adductors there.
Yep. So anytime that I'm doing that, I'm going to lift those coverings there. But that allows me to get
to curtsy. Wow! In case you were doing those classic War Machine splits.
Yeah, he was known for the split. But again,
there's one thing we all remember. It was those classic Avengers Endgame War Machine splits that we all know and love.
Well, the reason I wanted to do him that way, just, obviously it's kind of wild that he can, but then I've pulled down that secondary foot joint, and we can see that he pretty much flat-footed that far out.
And this is how you're going to pose him?
Oh, of course. I want to take up just as much shelf space as possible.
Yeah, that's good.
Optimal War Machine what's space. Neat is the ability to do that. You're also seeing all of those coverings around the foot kind of flexed and articulated this way out.
So while Guy is recovering from this vicious split, Cassidy, what do you got? Do we have any questions in here while Guy's doing all these dynamic poses? Damn, that looks cool.
We do have a few questions. Andrea's on YouTube would like to know, would a flight stand handle its weight? I believe they mean like a flight pose.
I think what you're probably asking is about this particular one here, your dynamic stands. I would, as far as being elevated up, a little off the stand, great. I think in a horizontal, quote, flight position, you're asking a lot for something like that. Also, look at this. I mean, not to denounce the ability of flight poses, but I've got flat feet on this guy and a crazy wide stance. I did turn the torso for Terry, so Terry's torso twists.
The old triple T.
But
the Terry Smith torso twist.
But yeah, see, that's I've got his leg stance currently flat-footed and wider than the turntable is. So that's a very impressive thing to be able to do. And this is by dropping down the additional articulation points, doing the full 3 clicks downward on the hip joint. Those new ones I talked about in the feet, pulling back the torso. Yeah, I mean, this is. We're doing breakdancing moves really right now, but just a spectacular amount of articulation that we're seeing on him. That is such a new thing.
Those satisfying clicks, man, when you move those legs and those joints.
Yes. Now, one thing I want to show here when I put the back into semi-neutral stance, we'll talk about. Is I want to talk a little bit about the flaps that are in the front that are on the hips. Let's take a look right there. Okay, You're going to see those front ones don't necessarily lay flat. Okay, they're out a little bit. Okay, this is by the design. Okay, but if I pull down one click, they'll lay flat. Okay, so if you want if you want a more of a museum style, he's just standing there looking intense, and you're worried about that, the single click there is going to do that.
So the pull down click.
Yep, that pull down click.
I'm gonna guess that most people are going to not want to do a museum style.
No.
So my question is, they go down when you do the pull click, but they can stay out when you do that pull click, and then you were to move one leg forward, for example.
Yep. So I'm going to go down. I'm going to lift that up, pull forward.
So that would probably be if somebody was going to do a landing or a hover or a flight.
Correct.
That would be a good example of using that sort of push down.
Yep. Yes. So anytime you're going to move the legs, know that they're tight, they're a click joint. Don't worry that you're going to, by multiple poses and kind of working with it, you're like, oh yeah, then they're going to get loose and weak. They're not. They're not going to do that. These are a strong, tight joint. And so anytime you do move the legs, please remember that you've got really 3 places that can move. Ooh. So I'm going to lift up those flaps, kind of do that new articulated back end flap that allows me to walk him forward a little bit more.
This is one of those things, and we've mentioned this, we've impressed upon this a lot, but it can't be understated that when you are doing like a highly technical piece, I mean, we've done pieces that are highly clothed. I think the Newt Scamander was a really good example of a piece that we have done where, you had to be careful, but it was mostly clothing, so you didn't have to be too crazy about it. But this is one where you're going to want to be like extra cautious in all of your movements, because it is die cast, because there are, I mean, I don't even, how many points of articulation does this piece have?
This is a huge amount, and with the addition of what I would say are also points of articulation, anytime I'm able to move, one of the flaps, change the waist up to do that, that to me is additional. Yeah.
There's
points.
Well over 30.
Yes.
I'm looking at my specs right now because I have access to those specs specifically. And it says 30 plus points of articulation. But I think I could rattle off.
The plus is that plus is definitely there. Definitely there.
It's a generous plus.
Yeah, generous plus. That it's definitely a generous plus there. Just in the things that'll move on the feet. I've got these front panels, I've got the toes, I've got the 2 sides, I've got the back one here, and I've got the drop down. I mean, just right there. And then you multiply that on the other side. The knee joints, the twist of the leg, all of that.
2 hands carry with them, like 20 points of articulation?
Yeah, exactly. You really have a lot in there. And that's another reason that it is important, and Jeff says it, and so do I, is to read those instructions, particularly anytime you have one of these very technical figures and one that is die cast and with as many points of articulation, and now with supplemental material.
Yeah, that little bonus, that bonus chapter.
It's good to know. I mean, when these, as we've said, these are an investment. They're an artwork, and they're saying, you know what, we want to make you aware of this as well.
While Guy and I are fawning over the directions, Cassidy, how are you doing over there?
I'm doing good. We have a few more questions. We have some personal ones. We also have one from Lael Rockwell on Facebook who wants to know, would you say that this figure is slimmer than the earlier versions and sleeker?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yes, he is. Now, upper body is similar to what we've seen in the 4 and even in the 2. But it is a sleeker design. Jeff brought this up, that those were really more the massive fighting machines, where this is a little bit sleeker fighter kind of style.
Stealth, a more stealth mode.
Yeah, more stealth mode, which is another reason to give it that neat paint job there. Our torso here is a little slimmer. The leg area is slightly slimmer as well, which I think works with the life events for Rhodey.
Yeah. I mean that works as an assisted movement.
Function. You know, when we see him without the suit and he has kind of the assistant legs.
Yeah. Cass, what else you got?
Mm-hmm.
We have some fun questions from
okay.
All right. Give me them first.
Uncle Pete wants to know, what is your favorite war machine? Since we're on the topic for the both of you.
Jeff, I'm going to let you go first.
My favorite war machine is the Iron Man Mark V. No, it's my God. That's my Grail piece.
I know.
I like honestly like the sleek one that we have here is cool, but I really like the Infinity War Mark IV. I love the high collar that he had on there, and I love that sort of like tank vibe that we have going for him. So I would probably go with the Infinity War version.
Okay, I would say as War Machine, I'm really digging on this. When he's Iron Patriot, I love the color scheme on that, and I'm excited that we're supposed to see a new one of that as well. So that'll be fun to get the hands on as well. I really like the sleek on this, and being able to do these new type poses and the new R&D just in the design.
Yeah,
on them.
Oh, as a toy,
as a toy, this one blows me away. I have always been a fan of that silver Mark II thing. So I loved in the first film when he looked and said, soon, or next time, or something like that.
Next time, yeah.
Yeah, next time. But what I like about it is, we look in, the Iron Man armor has changed and becomes the nanotech and this, that, and the other. But Rhodey's is not nano in any way. He's still classic, old school building.
Yeah, and there's something to be said about a military guy sort of holding on to that level of tech.
Yeah. So that's hopefully that semi answers our question.
Yeah, I think it does.
I like these personal questions.
Yeah, they're kind of fun.
I know, right? Yeah, we had another one too that was from Delvon on YouTube. Wanted to know, if there is a part 2 of Iron Man versus War Machine, who do you guys think would win?
Iron Man.
Yeah,
Iron Man always wins.
I think Iron Man is going to win that only because as much as we'd like to say it, the tech was always his anyway. So he's going to be better at doing anything inside those suits. Than anybody else.
Like Rhodey's great, and Rhodey's got the heart and the military brain and the strategy, but Tony is Tony.
Yep.
He's always going to be the smartest guy in the room, so it's going to go to Tony.
I think he's also built for one-on-one combat a little bit better, so that's where I put my money.
Yes.
Yeah, that is true.
All right.
God, so satisfying to listen to.
Yeah, to hear the little clicks and all.
Yeah, I know I sound like a broken record, but there is certainly a satisfaction to the movement of this piece.
Yeah. When I'm taking this leg and you hear that, that's pretty intense.
Click that leg, guy.
Exact. Here is that articulated hand I've put in where you've got the individual finger articulation on those. Okay, that's what I've done here on left hand, and on the right I have put on that one that has the bend with the repulsor. Okay, so there's 2 more of the light up points. I love the articulated fingers.
So, it looks like we're starting to creep towards the end of our time. So, Cassidy, I'm going to throw it to you if you have any more questions for Guy or myself that we can sort of help out for the next couple of minutes. And then we're going to
keep prepping for Sideshow Con.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a lot to film.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we no, the comments are pretty clear. I think we have answered all the questions.
Well, thank you everyone for watching. Wow, that means I hopefully covered the stuff.
Means, yeah, we covered it pretty well after my glorious entrance into this episode, where I didn't know that we had started filming because I am, wait for it, super smart.
Dramatic pausing.
So if that's the case, Guy, and we have thoroughly gone through the piece, we've covered all the questions, comments, and concerns that Cassidy has fielded, then I guess all that's left for us to do is to thank this audience for being so great. Remember, fan interaction and viewer interaction is what makes this show exist. Just having me and Guy goofing off, it just wouldn't be the same without you guys. So thank you. Of course, do not forget to pre-register for Sideshow Con. It's free. You don't have to do anything. You just sign in, but you get first in line access to the con exclusive, the special giveaways, the swag, and so on. Remember that Sideshow Con is the week of July 20th through 26th. We're going to have an actual booth that you're going to be able to virtually tour. We're very excited about this. Cassidy has dropped and will drop the link right now for side.show/con. And of course, if you are interested in any of our giveaways, we would invite you to come and join the Let Your Geek Sideshow Facebook group if you haven't already. If you don't know, this is a super awesome and very welcoming group with tons of Sideshow exclusive news and giveaways, such as our hashtag Stay in Sideshow, Show Us Your Super Suit Challenge. That's right. You use the materials around your home to create a super suit for a chance to win the ridiculously popular and amazing Iron Man Mark 50 6 scale by Hot Toys. Now, that contest will close tomorrow. That's Tuesday, July 14th. That's Bastille Day for all of our friends here. At noon Pacific. Okay, so that's noon our time. So make sure you check what your time zone is, match that up to Pacific, and make sure that you enter the contest on there. Cassidy will or has dropped a link to that in the chats. Guy, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank all of Guy for being here. Thank you so much for going over this piece. I'm very satisfied watching it. This was really great. Cassidy, over on the ones and twos, thank you so much.
Of course.
Shout out to super producer Sam and Chris and all of the crew that is in the Sideshow Studios for being so safe and so gosh darn good at what they do. Yeah. And of course, thank you, the viewers, for watching. Now, we'll see you when? Tomorrow. That's right, tomorrow. We're doing another episode at 10 a.m. We have another amazing episode of Unsealed and Revealed where we will be checking out the Ant-Man 6 scale figure by Hot Toys. So be sure to come back tomorrow because I'm already starting to miss each and every one of you. Thank you all so much for watching. And don't forget to let your geek side show. Bye.
Bye.